Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to build a drone. It's going to be the Realaxx X210 frame. This is by far my favorite frame, and it's just very light. It's very good. I love it. It's durable. I have many Realaxx X210s now, and we're going to be using the T-Motor F30 amp ESCs that we just reviewed on the channel, or I don't know if this video is going to come out before the review. These are pretty good. These are good. So we're going to use these, and I know we're going to use T-Motor again. It's because I still have, these are the replacements, and I just want to get rid of them. So we're just going to use them. Hopefully they work. Hopefully they work. So we're going to be using T-Motor F60 2450KV. For VTX, we're going to use the Eachine TX526. It's a selectable transmitter. I just stuck with these. I'm always going to be using these unless some crazy new thing comes out, and then we just try it out. And for camera, it's basically the Foxeer X-AT600. It's the same sensor as the Sony had 2 600 TVL, and I think I got PAL. Yes, I like PAL, so I got PAL here. And for components, that's, oh yeah, for flight controller and PDB, we're going to be using the Matek F405 flight controller. It's an F4 flight controller, and the PDB that goes along with it. It's the FCHUB-6S, so it's flight controller hub 6S. We just reviewed this on the channel. It looks good. I'm hoping it's going to perform. Won't know until we try it, and that's what we're here to do. So let me prepare everything, and let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to start with the PDB first. As you can see, I've had a couple things soldered on here before, just because when we were testing it on the bench. So the battery terminal is already soldered in. Now something you need to be aware of is be careful when you're soldering next to this, because this will melt right away. And if this melts, then it's just like any other PDB really, other than the 10 volt feature that it has. So just be careful doing this, and these two pads right here. Alright, so let's begin. I'm going to start heating up all the pads that we need, which are all the ESC pads. So let's do that now. I'm at 360 degrees Celsius right now. Okay, nice and shiny. Perfect. And I'm going to redo these here, the used ones, just because the solder has flux. It just makes it more fresh. Alright. Can't wait to try this one, but I don't think I'll be able to try this one this weekend. We have very big thunderstorms right now. It's like a summer thunderstorm. It's like, what, 33, 34 degrees Celsius, and just huge thunderstorms. It's ridiculous. Had an orange warning for thunder the other day. Actually, today we have one. It came for a bit and it just disappeared. So maybe sometime during half the week we could take this one out for a maiden. Hopefully. Maybe even tomorrow, who knows. Alright, just make sure it's clean because we're going to start on these. Now these pads are a little bigger than the F4 Flame, so they're a bit better to work with, easier. That one was totally fine, but I mean, if you're new, you're going to have a little challenge, but nothing's wrong with the challenge. So 5 volt. What was this 5 volt for? All we need is 10 and actually all we need is 10 and ground here, because this I had it for the, I don't know what I had it for actually, it was for testing. So okay, now we need the signals, and we're going to run the signal straight to here, and I guess we're not going to be grounding the ESCs here. So it's like a new fashion nowadays. No one wants to ground their ESCs. Still haven't tested that myth, but we'll eventually test it. So I guess we're done here now. All we need to do is actually just solder in the ESCs to this, and we should be good to go. So let me set this up on the frame and then we can take it from there. Actually, before we put it on the frame, and I forget, I'm going to clean out the flux. So what I do is I just bought a toothbrush, pretty stiff one, try to get the stiff one, and I use this flux cleaner. It's called Max Gold. I get it from eBay. It's very good. I just dip the toothbrush in it, and then this is wet, and just start cleaning it out. However, sometimes you get very thick spots, and this doesn't really clean it out, but I'll show you a little technique that I do. Is I would get something sharp, but not too sharp to actually cut the board. So here we have a huge dense mark. I don't know if you guys can see that. Wait for it. There we go. Right here. See, it's just like I can feel it. So what I do is, let's see how we can do this actually. Maybe this is better actually. So it's right here, and what I do is, see, when I start scratching it, how it peels off. So I try to peel off any kind of shorts, like especially here. Here's there's going to be in the middle of these two. See that? That's not the board. That's actually the flux. So that would have caused the short circuit, and that would have been very bad. So then you get this. And it's perfectly clean. However, I don't like, because sometimes it gets sticky after the flux cleaner, but that's totally fine. I don't know if you guys could see that. That's flux right there, right here. So yeah, just be careful with this stuff. Here's another one. See that? That's all flux right there. It's not me damaging the board. So yeah, it's pretty thick stuff. Especially here, you see this could have bridged one of these two right there. And maybe it won't cause problems right away, but it might lead to some problems that you don't want. So, and then again, just grab this guy. Make sure he still has flux on him, so the toothbrush is still wet. Don't do it too hard, because you could pop one of these components off or pop them loose, and that'll be bad. So that's clean. So let's do this also here. Let's just take a look at what we have here. See, I can already see it from right there. Or maybe that's just on camera. There we go. That's all flux. So make sure you want to break any bridges between them. Anything really. However, this is a very good board. Usually I do end up scratching the board a bit with the tweezers. This way. So just, yeah, be careful. This seems like a good quality board. That's why it's not breaking so easily. So this should be clean in theory now. And this stuff will dry very quick. Perfect. That is good. Alright, so this is clean. It's nice and clean now. Alright, let me put on the frame and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I've set my first ESC and we're going to start with motor 3 just because it's here right now. So it's awesome right now. The layout is currently perfect. We got the positive, which is right there, and we have the ground. So I've cut the ground of the ESC, and what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to wrap the wire around the ground. Supposedly that helps. I've never tested it. I don't know if it really does do anything, but why not give it a go? So maybe, yeah, just a couple wraps like that, and it's very minimal, but it's something. If it does anything, that's good for us. So now we're going to cut them to length. We'll start with the positive here. Right there is perfect. Alright, that's good. And now we're going to do the negative, and just give it a little bit of space here, about that much. So right there would be perfect. And right there is perfect. We're going to leave the signal for a bit later. Clean up the solder tip. And we're going to put solder on the wires now. And I have the there's an extra wire hanging right here. The solder station is at 366 degrees Fahrenheit, which is I think more than good enough. Now let's do this guy. Now I don't recommend you put solder on your wires above your flight controller, because sometimes you do get solder splatter and it could basically short circuit something. So try to avoid that. Now our hemostats, without these, life would be very hard. So, and again, we're just going to listen to that crunching sound. So just apply pressure, and then just start slowly but surely hearing that beautiful sound. And perfect. Nice solder. Well, same thing goes for this guy. We should have put more solder on the pad here. I think we're going to have to do that. You know what, let's do that now. But I think there's holes on this PDB, so it's seeping through, maybe, a bit. So, there we go. Yep, that's perfect. We're gonna have to clean some flux there, and we'll do that later, and hopefully we remember later. Now we're gonna do our ESC wire. Right there is perfect. I forgot the board was hot, so I just burned my finger, sorry. And these signal wires are not silicone. I mean, for $17 for ESC, I mean, that's the least they could do. It was even more noisy than the XS, which was a lot cheaper. I'm sorry, but T-Motor just constantly disappoints me. Constantly. Always. But they do have a good marketing team. So maybe that's why everyone's on T-Motor. Alright, so we just finished the first one. Look how easy and simple and clean. I'll fix this right up later on with the standoffs. Right now I just put these so I don't keep melting my nylon standoffs because I'm running out. And I ordered some, but you know, it takes like a month to get here. So that should be good right there. It's not in the way of the hole, so always just take a note of that right there. And I'm going to skip over the rest of the ESCs, and then we'll take it from there. Alright guys, now I got the ESCs all in place. I'm going to wrap the signal around the ground just in case it helps, as people say it does. But it's still recommended to actually ground them, but we're not going to ground them here right now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump to the VTX, which will go to 10 volt here and ground. And the yellow wire will go to the FC since the OSD is on the flight controller. So let's do that now. These wires for the Eachine TX526 are they're not good quality at all. So you just have to burn them off. Really. Yep, that's the only way to do them. So we're going to start with the power and ground. These are too long, but I mean, it's very difficult to cut or remove as much as you need with a lighter, so it'll do right now. We'll just put solder on it, and then we will cut them to length, and then stick them on the flight controller. So let's just put this guy a bit right here. Okay. Here's positive. Perfect. I think that's good enough. Hopefully the camera focuses. It doesn't want to focus. Anyways, alright, let's solder them in. I'm gonna try to actually zoom in for you. Alright, I think that's good enough. Make sure the solder tip is clean when you do small wires such as this. So we need ground. Let's do with the 10 volt first, since it's the hardest here. I mean, since it's next to other components. Okay, that's good. And remember, the yellow wire is going to go into the flight controller because the OSD is there. So that's just very dirty. Don't like that one. The ground didn't come out good. What we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little solder to it. That'll clean it right up, hopefully. Alright, so it didn't. So what do we do here? We either get some solder removing thingy, or just scrub it off like that, and then give it a little tap with some fresh solder, tiny tap. It's because I didn't have the tip properly cleaned. Perfect. And now we perfect it. There we go. And now we have a good solid thingy. Solid joint. Alright, so okay, we got this done. And then we left the yellow because it's going to go to the VTX. Now let's jump to the nothing really. Now we're just going to place in the flight controller, and then from there everything goes. So let's get the flight controller in. And as you can see, we have a ribbon. We don't have to solder anything else anymore. All we have to do is going to solder the receiver and camera, and you're done. And then just the motors, and that's it really. It's that simple. Actually, it's pretty simple. Alright, so this goes upwards, if I remember correctly. So you want to pull these black pieces just ever so slightly. They don't come off, so try not to take them off. And just stick this in. Okay. And now just pop it in. Pop the black ones in. And that's it. So basically all our wires are in this little ribbon right here. So let me prepare the standoffs and I'll be right back. Alright guys, something to note here, I forgot to mention, these come with rubber dampener standoffs for the flight controller, and the inside part is very small, so I mean normal standoffs like this are not going to fit. And this is the plastic nylon standoff screw. You could use a standoff or a screw. So what I do is I just get this cutter right here, and I just line it up on 2 points, and then just crack it off, and then go in and see if it'll fit all the way. If not, then I cut a little bit more, and I keep doing that same process until it fits. And I've done this before on other nylon standoffs where I needed it, and that's perfect. As you can see, look. This is very good. This is going to keep it damped, so we're not going to have a lot of vibrations touching the flight controller. And right now, what do we need to do? So we got this in place now. It's looking very beautiful. I don't know if it's going to fit because I'm actually going to put what is it? The receiver up here, and then don't forget we still have a VTX. So I might either use the very tiny, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use those small FlySKy receivers. I'll show you one right now. So I'm gonna use one of these guys. They're very small, so it's gonna be running iBus this time. I'm gonna run iBus on this guy. And this guy allows me not to keep binding it every time I boot this quad, so it'll just be completely bound. And we're gonna run iBus, SBus, iBus. So yeah, that'll be very good. So all right, let's just get its wires, or actually let's plug in the the camera wire, the VTX camera wire, which is gonna be pop inputs right there. So I recommend you twist your wires actually. So right before we do this. I think that's good. That'll allow a lot of freedom, hopefully. Let's see, because I want this guy to be in through here, which is better for me, through the back. Okay, yeah, and this guy would come straight from this side and then plug in there. I think that's retarded. Look where they put the VTX, all the way by the camera. I mean, that's one thing I don't like about the board so far. It's all the way here, and then you got your camera here. So this is all the way in the front. But good thing we've noticed it a bit earlier, so we don't have any problems. So that's going to be cut right about here. And then we're going to need the lighter. Where's the lighter? There it is. And we're going to burn this guy. Burn, baby, burn. Oh, shit. Oh, there we go. Damn it. Alright, that's good. Let's get some solder. So hopefully we get to fly this guy tomorrow. But I don't know when I'll release this. Maybe this will be released tomorrow also. So we will know soon enough. Alright, we're just going to add a little solder on that pad right there, because it needs some. Because I had it soldered for the testing environment. This board I only have one piece of, so I'm not going to have it for later testing. So I'll probably get another one if I have to. But I took all the measurements that I really need, so when I get my DYS in, I could really compare them to the data that I already have. So I make sure before I put something on a quad, I get as many measurements as possible for later on use also. And I'm actually starting to run out of hard drive space, so I might need to get me a new hard drive. Alright, let me get the battery. Wow. I'm going to get the camera wire now, and then we're just going to solder it right there. So that'll be very good. Ooh, here's the battery. Here we go. Why do I keep saying battery? Camera. Alright. So there's our wire. I'm going to cut this off. Last time I had them way too long, and it was just it was a very stupid mistake. And then if I have them too short, it's even a stupider mistake. So there's always a dumb mistake in this. These are not silicone. This is the Chinese fox here. So it's like a wannabe silicone regular wire. So yeah. Actually, I always forget to actually change the settings on these. Sometimes it's very difficult to see. So you have settings in these, you can go in and you could just change them, but I don't know, I just never found the time. Or actually I'm just too lazy to go plug it to the TV and actually do it. That last one burned. So if you guys see I have dirty hands, now you know why I have dirty hands. Let's get this guy. Can't believe we're almost done. It's pretty fast, I think. Didn't take very long. So put a little solder like this first, and then like that. Perfect. Let's bring this guy in. Alright. I don't know if I'll make this a long build or a very quick build, but alright, so now what we're going to do is you have the yellow, which goes to cam, and then the red would go to 5 volt, and then the black would go to ground. So let's actually put some solder on the ground. So we should start with ground. Hope you guys could see. Yeah, you guys could see. But I'll do this even better. And there you go. We got our camera in. Now let's get the receiver. Where is he? There he is. So it comes like this, and I don't know what is what yet until we plug it in. So there we go. Ground is black, so it would go in like this. So this is ppm, which is yellow. So we're either gonna cut this off or just remove the pin, but we're just gonna cut it off to make it faster. Be careful when you cut this off. I've cut other wires with it. So there we go. It's cut off. These are not silicone, by the way, which really sucks. Is this long enough? Yeah. Try not to undo them because they're so nicely put together. If you use this, I really wanted to put FrSKy receivers on this. It's been 2 months and my QX7 is still in customs, which is ridiculous. I've wrote them many times like, oh, we have so many things in, blah, 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 blah. God damn it. Perfect. Always twist your wires. It's good practice and it saves you money. And a headache and time. Alright, let's get the solder. By the way, if anyone's interested in buying any of the drones I built recently, just let me know. I don't have a problem. You guys actually support my channel. Or if you want me to build you one, you can contact me. I have no problem. I'll build it on the channel for you too, you can see it. So it gives me something to do on the channel, and at the same time you get a good quad, hopefully. Well, I'll test everything obviously before I give it to you. Make sure no noise, make sure everything's running, tune it, and then you're good to go. Oh shit. Alright, so we need to put, alright, so where is, there's S bus, so we're using I bus. Alright, let's zoom in, okay, focus. Alright, so as you can see, S bus, and then 4V5, I'm guessing it's 5 volt, hoping it's 5 volt at least. Okay, so I don't want to melt the standoff here. This is very retarded position that I'm in. Okay, that worked. Was this S bus? I forgot. Yeah, it was. And there we go. Let's get this guy. So we're going to start with ground here. Okay, red would be 5 volt. Oh wow, this is very bad. Hopefully that won't touch anything. I'm afraid that'll touch. Well, if we ever get a flyweight issue, we'll know why. I actually had that happen to me once. Receiver was shorting out. Almost killed me. The quad just went crazy and it just basically grinded all of its propellers. It was, I couldn't do nothing. I even set the what is it? The fail-safe switch for that one, because it was very weird how it would do things, and I didn't know why until I saw it actually shorting on the frame. So that's very dangerous. It will not respond to anything you do, not even disarm if your receiver's shorting out. So you got to be very careful. All right, so what do we do now? We got this, we got this, we got that. All right, now let's just check if everything will fit. So I'm gonna. Alright guys, so I put the top plate on, and I've actually used a little bit smaller standoffs here. I think these are 8mm right here, and these are the ones that come with the Matek flight controller. These are rubber, so check this out. You see this? It's very awesome. And here's the receiver. It's up here. I'm gonna use double-sided tape and just stick it to the top, or just stick it to the flight controller here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy, double-sided tape, hold him in like this. And then there's 3 holes right here. I'm going to use 2 of them, which align perfectly with these 2 holes. And I'll use double-sided tape, and then I'll use zip ties, 2 small zip ties together to hold it in place, and it should be perfect. So I'm going to get that done with, and solder on the motors, and then we take a look at it and see how it went. Alright guys, so everything was going well. I got it to fit. It fits perfect, beautiful. And I'm going to turn it on to just, you know, do the VTX and camera. And it just catches fire. I don't know if you can see that. So, I don't know if something shorted, but it just instantly caught on fire. Everything seems perfect. I don't see any solder. I don't see anything. It could be my fault, it cannot be my fault, and I don't see anything anywhere really. I'm going to look into it a little bit more, but yeah. So there goes this flight controller. I mean, maybe we could replace this, but that'll be a headache, I think, or maybe not. You know what, maybe we'll try to replace it, but at the same time I'm gonna order another one. So yeah, there goes this build. Anyways, it was a very nice build. It just fits perfect. Let me just show you real quick. Everything was just perfect in there. And you know what, let's leave this as to be continued. So this is part 1 of a fuck up or a fucked up flight controller.